Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk to you about why I refer to myself as an independent political candidate. Well, let's look at the options on the table first. Look at the major parties, Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And without even getting into ideology of the parties, as I've said to you before, these political parties consist of so little true ideological unity that doesn't seem to make any sense really to associate with either party. You look at how divided they are. And in fact, this isn't only the case with the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Even the Libertarian Party is quite divided. So when you look at a political party that's divided, you don't really get much of a sense of a party anyway, to begin with. But moreover, there are ideological trends within the political parties. And one could argue, well, don't you want to be associated with a particular collection of trends? And I'm not happy with the trends of any of the major parties. I'm not happy with the trends of the Republican Party, because the Republican Party, although in theory the Republican Party has some decent fiscal economic ideas of a free market, they don't stand by that at all. And also the social issues, the stances on social issues that most Republicans take are disgusting and coercive, and I just can't support something like that. You consider the typical Republican stance on marijuana. There's no reason to prohibit the consumption of marijuana whatsoever. There is a reason to regulate it because it could be abused. There is a reason to tax it. I think all things that are sold should be taxed, and that we could eventually do away with the income tax. But there's nothing that's demonstratively harmful to the human body or mind because you consume marijuana. In fact, studies show that it's not only something that alleviates stress and helps people relax and helps people on, chemotherapy with their appetite. It's demonstratively anti-cancer and good for the nerves. So why is it illegal? Well, it's illegal, I believe, only because the pharmaceutical companies would rather it be legal, because less people would buy their drugs, which are actually typically more harmful when you consider all of the side effects. And none of the Republicans, or virtually none of the Republicans, are even going to talk about that. So for that reason, I don't see any I don't see any motive to associate with a group of people who don't want to have that conversation. Next, I don't agree with the typical Republican stance on abortion. Now, I know there are pro-choice Republicans out there, but I also know that it's an extremely divisive issue within the Republican Party. And that's something I just don't want to deal with. It's already a divisive issue within the nation, within the state. So, I'd rather talk directly to those people and not have to deal with, a political party itself. And next, I definitely cannot support the fervent opposition to gay rights consistent with the Republican Party. The governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, even though the courts here in New Jersey have said that gay marriage will be legalized, he wants to continue fighting it anyway. That just shows what a sexist and what a bigot he unfortunately is. And it's disgusting that our governor would do that. And that's what you get when you get a Republican. Unfortunately, even the Republicans I'm running against for New Jersey Assembly, they remain actually silent on the issue of gay rights. In fact, one of the men I'm running against in particular, Steve Cook, is openly gay, and his position on gay marriage is to have it on the ballot. Now, there are times when it's right to have an issue on the ballot, and there are times when it's not right to have an issue on the ballot before the people. Basically, let's first consider why we have representatives make laws. Because if we didn't, we would never successfully, create one. It would be a much more chaotic process. That's why we have representatives. So, shouldn't the representatives, the legislators, do their job? Yes. Now, when they're not doing their job, when they're not truly representing the advancement of freedom that the people demand, then an issue should go on the ballot. So you have to look at issues and say, who's doing a better job right now of protecting the individual liberty of the citizens? Is it the legislators or is it the people? Now, several polls suggest that on the issue of gay rights, unfortunately, if it were to be put on the ballot, it would be an anticipated loss. So that's why you have Republicans like Chris Christie and Steve Cook insisting that it be on the ballot, because then they don't have to deal with actually pushing the law and, it doesn't happen to pass. And it's not their fault either. So you see, it's a cop-out in this case. Whereas, I believe that if the question of legalizing marijuana were put on the ballot, I believe that would be passed with overwhelming success, as a majority of people do support legalization of marijuana. Not just in the state of New Jersey, but throughout the entire country, in fact. One more. No, that's it with the Republican Party. Those are my 3 problems with the Republican Party. I briefly tell you now some of my problems with the Libertarian Party, and why I cannot truly call myself a libertarian. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I am extremely tired this morning, so any lagging in my speech, I do apologize for. So, what are my key problems with the Libertarian Party? Well, the first is libertarians tend to be they tend to lean towards anarchy, and I don't. Libertarians tend to hate just about anything that has to do with government. It seems just for the sake of hating anything that has to do with the government. And there's often not enough dialogue about, respect for when it's good that the government does certain things. Now, I'm not saying this is the case of every single libertarian. What I am saying is the fact that it tends to be the trend within the Libertarian Party. It's a key trend. Another one is a lot of libertarians are against taxation. Understandably, we all should have disdain for taxation. However, completely eliminating taxes is illogical because you couldn't fund the country. We couldn't fund our protection. And people will argue that you could have voluntary taxation, procedures, policies, and systems set up. But I would argue that in this day and age, I honestly couldn't see that happening. Furthermore, it would be unstable. And the instability of that would cause an instability within the government, which is not in the interest of our protection whatsoever. I also think, and this is something I actually care a lot about, but I believe that libertarians tend to have a lack of sensitivity when they talk about eliminating government programs. Now look, I believe in eliminating many government programs. However, I think that there has to be a lot of discussion about exactly what we cut and how we go about cutting it. And here's why. People are losing their jobs. I think it's that simple. When you're dealing with taking away somebody's paycheck, you have to have a lot of sensitivity, and you have to, you should offer that person, if you can, some kind of severance package. And, so there should be dialogue about how that's going to be treated. And that's something that I don't hear much from the Libertarian Party. And as I said with the other parties, there's just a general lack of unity in the Libertarian Party. I don't like being subject to any of these things. I like to feel truly free, and I like to be truly independent. I'm an independent-minded person, and so therefore I am an independent political candidate. And I'm an independent political candidate for New Jersey Assembly. And I hope that if you're in the 14th Legislative District, I can count on your vote and your support. And my running mate, the independent candidate for New Jersey Senate in the 14th Legislative District, is Don DeZarn. I hope he can count on your support and vote as well. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the ballot, but we have not been invited to debate the other candidates. I believe this is unfair. So I ask that you help us get a debate going. I ask that you contact all of the candidates personally and request that they participate in a fair debate. And I will give you all the contact information for everybody in links below. I thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for all of your time, for listening, for watching, for your interest. May God bless you.